A star was born this weekend, folks. His name is Bam Rodriguez, and you know damn well we have to talk about this one. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
They hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, fam? It's Hot Boxing Minute, your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst, back at you with that realness, and we have got to discuss Bam Rodriguez's performance this past weekend against Arisaket Sarongvasai out there in the Tech Port Center in San Antonio, Texas. He put on a legendary display against a legendary fighter. What can I say about Bam Rodriguez? It's not very often a fighter moves up two weight divisions and dominates. I mean, I think of the small handful of times I've seen it in the past. Recently, we had Canelo with Sergey Kovalev, Manny Pacquiao with Oscar De La Hoya. A little further back, there was Roy Jones Jr. when he went up to heavyweight. It's just unreal, folks. Bam is in a very, very special class of fighters historically with his latest performances. And based on the trajectory and what it is I've seen so far from Bam Rodriguez, he's got quite a high ceiling. For Bam Rodriguez to do what he has already done at 22 years old, knocking out two of the four kings, not knocking out, but beating two of the four kings, it definitely puts him in a special bracket of fighters, folks. He is already building a resume for himself that makes it look like he's going to be one of the pound-for-pound fighters. Now, I ain't gonna lie, coming into it, I was kind of leaning towards Arisaket Sarongvasai. You could check the video prediction I did on that fight, and I was very stunned at what I saw. It was like Arisaket Sarongvasai aged right in front of our faces. He looked like he was 35 years old. This didn't look like the dude that knocked out Chocolatito and beat him in the first fight, arguably. It didn't look like the guy that had run the round robin with the other three kings in the super flyweight division. Bam Rodriguez made Arisaket Sarongvasai look very average, and that is an earmark of greatness, folks. Just unbelievable performance, and I can't give Bam Rodriguez enough credit for what he did. Bam Rodriguez was moving about that ring, cutting angles, hitting the Rat King from so many different angles and giving him different looks. It kind of reminded me of like Orlando Canizales mixed with, it was, I don't even know. It's just, I'm geeked about it, folks. It's not very often you see that kind of talent. Like, to see Bam Rodriguez doing what he did against the Rat King, cutting angles, moving shots, moving evasively while standing there right in front of his face, essentially. It was like Lomachenko / Orlando Canizales / Johnny Tapia all rolled up into one in a new 2022 package of a young dude who's 22 years old who hasn't even hit his man strength yet. That's going to come in his mid-20s to late 20s. So he's got a peak that we haven't even seen, folks. And yeah, it was great. I don't know what's up with Arisaket Sarongvasai after this. He's 34 years old. He just got dominated by a new young beast in the division. I think at 35 years old, the Rat King might want to call it a career. It's very difficult at that age to perform at the elite levels, but you never know. Arisaket Sarongvasai started off his career, if I'm not mistaken, with 3 losses or 4 losses, including, I think, a knockout or 2 was in there. But maybe he'll take this loss in stride, come back and pull off a Dani Nietes where he fights at 39, 40 years old. Pulls off a, goodness, who was the one that just got knocked out by Naoya Inoue? I am forgetting his name. Oh my goodness. And he's Filipino. Shame, shame, shame on me. Anyways, the camera gets you nervous. Anyways, point being proven, when you get a little bit up there in age, you can see amazing things happen from these fighters. Now, Bam Rodriguez, he's got a lot of doors open for him. There's a lot of people in the aftermath of Bam Rodriguez's most recent performance. A lot of people were online demanding that he fight Chocolatito next, and I really don't think that's what's going to happen next, folks. I don't. Chocolatito and Bam Rodriguez are both in the same management company, Taiken Management, with, I think his name is Akihiro Honda, and being that they're both under the same promotional banner, the same management, and good friends, I really don't see that happening next. I'm going to go out there on a limb as far as what's going to happen next with Chocolatito. I think he's going to wait for Juan Francisco Estrada to get his thing right. I think Juan Francisco Estrada is going to vacate his belt to not fight his Minotaur Josh Franco to get that third fight, that trilogy fight with Chocolatito. And I think both Juan Francisco Estrada and Chocolatito were going to take that $1 million paycheck in that last fight and both of them ride off in the sunset and retire. So I don't know if either of them is going to fight either Josh Franco or Bam Rodriguez. But that's just me thinking far left field. I don't think the Chocolatito fight is going to happen. In a recent interview with Jake Donovan, or Jake Donovan actually spoke to Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez said, he is friends with Chocolatito. They're both under the same promotional or the same management company. So that doesn't mean that that Bam Rodriguez doesn't have a lot of possible options open. He can, the sky's the limit right now for Bam. He's in between two divisions, 112, 115. I don't see him going back down to 108 or one of the smaller divisions. I see him fluctuating between flyweight and super flyweight. So he can move down. Bam Rodriguez could move back down to flyweight. He can fight Junto Nakatani. He can fight El Rey Martinez, Sonny Edwards. There's a slew of guys out there at flyweight he can fight. He can lead the super flyweights for his brother Josh Franco, who's still up in that division, who's supposed to fight Juan Francisco Estrada next. We'll see if that happens. That remains to be seen. What's going on at super flyweight is he could wait for Fernando Martinez. So Bam Rodriguez could potentially stay at super flyweight with his WBC belt, fight Fernando Martinez, the one who just won the title off of Jerwin Ancajas. Jerwin Ancajas is also a possibility. Or he can wait for the Kazuto Ioka Dani Nietes winner and fight between those two guys, or fight either one of them regardless of who wins that fight or not. The doors are wide open for Bam Rodriguez. So Robert Garcia, his trainer, said that he expects him to fight 2 more times before the year is over. So we aren't done with Bam Rodriguez for 2022, folks. A star was born, and I look forward to seeing the future from Bam Rodriguez and seeing what he does next. So very great stuff on this DAZN card this weekend out there in San Antonio. Moving on to the other fight, I want to say it was the co-main, or it might have been the undercard. MJ Akhmadaliev got the win over Ronnie Rios. If I'm not mistaken, it was in the 12th round. It was either in the 11th or 12th round. I didn't write it down, but MJ had pretty much a dominant performance over Ronnie Rios. Ronnie Rios did have his spots here and there, and MJ even injured his hand. What was it, his left hand? And he was throwing pretty much right hooks the whole time out of his weak side and still ended up getting the stoppage win over Ronnie Rios. That's an impressive performance on MJ's part. So now the conversation with MJ after this most recent win against Ronnie Rios is what's up with him and Stephen Fulton Jr. And I think that's going to be the one fans really, really want to see. But can MJ, who was on the Matchroom side of the banner, get a fight with Stephen Fulton Jr. on the PBC side of the banner? Because politics is an ugly thing. So your guess is as good as mine whether or not that fight actually happens before 2022 ends. I really hope so. I think Stephen Fulton Jr. and MJ Akhmadaliev would give us a classic fight. You've got Stephen Fulton Jr. who can fight frontwards, fight backwards. He's shown he can match any style thrown at him. He moves laterally real well, but guess what? MJ Akhmadaliev does the same thing. He can fight on the front foot. He can fight backing up. Not as effectively as Stephen Fulton Jr., which might be the deciding factor, but where Stephen Fulton Jr. is the better fighter on the back foot, MJ Akhmadaliev definitely has more pop in his hands. So they both move real well laterally around the ring, but I want to see that fight. Maybe Stephen Fulton and MJ fight, become undisputed, and if one of those guys fights Naoya Inoue, maybe Naoya Inoue can move up from bantamweight. What about Naoya Inoue and Bam Rodriguez? People are even talking about that one. I don't think Bam Rodriguez is ready to move up that kind of weight because Naoya Inoue is 2 divisions above the flyweight division out there in bantamweight. So anyways, MJ Akhmadaliev gets the win in terrific fashion over Ronnie Rios. I don't know what's next for Ronnie Rios, but if I'm not mistaken, he's got 4 losses on his record now. Every time he's moved up to the point to where he challenges for a title, he loses. So I don't know. I don't know what Ronnie Rios wants to do at this point. If he wants to be a stepping stone for other fighters in the super bantamweight division, or if he just wants to take the 4 losses and ride off. Ronnie Rios is from Santa Clara, California. He was an amateur standout. He won the National Golden Gloves a few times, but I think when it comes to just moving up that one extra gear that it takes to win a championship, it seems that he falls short. Anyways, hats off to Ronnie Rios for stepping in the ring and giving us a very entertaining fight with MJ Akhmadaliev. I want to switch over to the last big fight that was on that card. Jessica McCaskill dominates Ida Ibarra in the corner. Ida Ibarra's corner threw in the towel and decided to call it a night. And that was amazing because Ida Ibarra was coming down from middleweight to challenge Jessica McCaskill for the undisputed welterweight crown. So Jessica McCaskill, with her rough and tumble style, that all action, all pressure, come forward at you with the loopy shots and that famous overhand right hand, was just too much for Ida Ibarra. So Jessica McCaskill successfully defends her undisputed welterweight championships. I don't think there's anybody else in the welterweight division. She already beat Cecilia Brackhouse twice. I think the only real possible fights that are really going to generate money for Jessica McCaskill would be in the 140 division with Cameron and Callie Reese, the two champions in the junior welterweight division. And I think that's going to be the next move for Jessica McCaskill. We're going to find out. Callie Reese was supposed to run it with the unified champion, Chantel Cameron. Sorry, I always forget her full name. So Callie Reese was supposed to run it with Chantel Cameron. For some reason or another, that fight hasn't happened yet. But I really like the idea of Jessica McCaskill fighting Chantel Cameron. They've been talking about possibly matching her for years. They both have real aggressive, very friendly styles. They're both spiteful fighters that really like to hit you back fierce once you hit them back. So I think it'd be a great style, a great matchup of skills. I believe Chantel Cameron has slightly more technical ability, but Jessica McCaskill has shown that she is not one to be taken lightly. She has fought far better competition. We'll see how that works out. Congratulations to Jessica McCaskill successfully defending her undisputed welterweight championship, folks. It was an amazing weekend of fights. What did you folks out there think about that DAZN card? Let me know in the comments section. Y'all, let's chop this up. Hit like if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to hit follow, folks. This is Hot Boxing Minute, the future of boxing analysis on YouTube, and already the dude on TikTok. Till next time, folks. Peace.